Are back, and it's now Saturday afternoon, and we are here with Adam. And obviously, since I left yesterday afternoon with Adam, who wasn't feeling well, Jay was able to really help us out and got a lot done clearly after I left. So I think when we left, he had the up pipe and down pipe off pretty much. But as you can see, we have a big pile of parts over here in addition. It looks like he's got the intake there, the turbo, down pipe, up pipe, and whatever, some other junk. Intercooler's right over there. There's the intercooler for any of you guys who wanted to see how thick it was. I know I have lots of questions saying it doesn't look that big, but as you guys can see, this is my hand as for reference. 4.5 inches. Yeah, and my Evo one's 3.5 inches, so it is plenty capable of cooling this air that we're about to throw at it. So, without further ado, I think we've given away the surprise. I know I was teasing a lot of you guys on Instagram last night. You guys said I was going to do a Whipple supercharger and some stupid shit, but clearly that's not what's happening. So we couldn't run more boost without doing this. So what do you guys think here? So we got the obviously this is the used engine that just came out of the Jeep, and no, it was not blown up. Adam, out of curiosity, how does it look?
For 40,000 miles and 40,000 mile engine.
Not too bad, right?
No, not at all.
Consider it's been boosted the last 4,000.
Pistons are still there.
Nice, so we'll take it. So all the people online that said this wouldn't work, and for folks that want to buy a kit for their stock trucks, we ran this on the kit, or on the car, excuse me, for 1 year. I don't know how many miles exactly, but it's quite a few, we'll say. And obviously it held up just fine. So I think the key was the E85 and having a really nice conservative tune. He was able to run a lot of timing because of the 85 and not running pump gas. Yeah. And I take care of it, so obviously we warm it up and, you know, don't beat the shit out of it. So it ran at best 11.5 at 123, which was on 7 pounds of boost once again. Very impressive, and a completely stock vehicle. So that being said, we're going to let Adam kind of run us through what the hell's going on here and why he pulled my engine out, and what we're doing today.
I guess the idea always is to run more boost, more power.
Yep.
You know,
we got bored.
Yeah, you get bored with it. You get spoiled with it. So it's taped off. I mean, we just don't want shit flying in there.
Yeah, in terms of the cylinders.
Molly pistons, 9.5 to 1 with the Molnar rods.
And the stock compression, so we can.
It's a 6. Well, no, it's lower compression. Stock
so
compression
so everybody else knows. I mean, you and I know. So this is 11 to 1, and we're going to 9.5 to 1.
The idea is we're going to run this thing on pump gas for the next couple months, and get it up to about 10 pounds of boost. Because the limiting point on the dyno last time was the fuel pump. Is out on the 85 at. Yeah. We're picking 640 and we're running on fumes. So
we're hoping to get, what, 10 to 12, hopefully?
10 pounds of boost realistically, safely, and then 12 pounds of boost on some brace gas. On the single pump.
That's news to me, so I'm a little bummed, but which is fine. I'm not that surprised. I know fuel pumps and injectors and from the Evo.
I mean, we're talking 35% more fuel was being used with the 85.
Now, what about that meth injection kit that we talked about, the snow kit yesterday, Adam?
As long as it's running at...
Would that help richen it up at all, or no?
It'll bring the air fuels down. We can turn the boost up. It will bring the intake temps down as well. More power will be created. I'm just not a huge fan of them because when they shit out, it normally takes the motor out.
I'm not a big fan of them either.
Everybody has used that kit before. When it works fantastic.
Yeah, but when it doesn't,
it doesn't. When it craps out, it takes the motor out with it. So it's
and this is a big investment for the kid over here.
Kind of expensive.
All right, so that's where we're going to go. Also, we're going to keep the stock transmission. I know there was a few of you guys that were asking at this point. This is why I called it a stage 2 of my build, and there will be a stage 3, obviously, which will happen this summer. I mean, there's really no point in the winter in Chicago for 12 pounds of boost anyway. So we'll bring it back and have him do I'm leaning towards the Paramount transmission, I believe. And then we can turn it, and then do the E85, go back to E85, do the bigger injectors and the 2 pumps and the lines and all that, the bigger fuel lines, and then we can turn it up to 14 or 15, right? And then really have some fun. So why don't you, so I think a lot of people will be confused because most of the time there's downtime, Adam, to do something like this, obviously, and everybody knows that usually my truck's over here and cars are over here for a while. So what exactly, we obviously have an additional core here, engine core short block for those people who don't know engines. You had this from
another project
around the shop, and so you built it knowing that somebody like me would probably want it, and so you did use stuff that was...
it's a stock crank, stock 6.4 crank, stock 6.4 bore block.
turbo type of pistons and rods, the turbo friendly compression, all that stuff. Because I know you've mentioned with the Trailblazer SSs in the past that had those real crazy NA builds that they weren't, you know, boost friendly, right?
Yes.
So this is a boost type of motor.
11.5 to 1.
Because they're high compression, exactly.
Yeah, you got to run very low ignition timing. So.
Okay, cool. So we had, you said Molly pistons?
Molly pistons.
Molly pistons.
Molnar rods.
Molnar rods. So I'm an import guy, so I only know like turbo tough, manly, and stuff like that. But that's like the equivalent in this world, basically.
It's not as turbo tough stuff because the turbo tough stuff, the massive I-beams, they're meant for 60 plus pounds of boost. There's not a single V8 out there that will take that kind of boost.
Oh, so these aren't like the rods that are in the EVA.
H-beams. They're still H-beams.
Oh, they are H-beams. I know what an H-beam is.
In the V8 world, they run about 26 to 2,800 bucks, and they're normally custom motor 8 weeks out. We've done one motor with Timmy's actually Jeep has those I-beams in there.
No shit.
And that is meant to take all kinds of horsepower, but except the block won't take it. I mean, you know, I'm sure I'm going to get some sort of a hate on it, but there's HEMI block just won't take 30.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, what will the block take, and what will those rods that I have take, the H-beams?
Honestly, I have no idea.
It's more than
I
the.
want to tell you it's going to take 1,500.
Yeah, and the thing, I don't even want that much. And the thing is, like for all the kids online that don't get where we're coming from, my powertrain on the car, meaning the differential transfer case, transmission, I mean, can't handle that much power. So
I mean, realistically, I would say about 1,200 horsepower is what this motor will be.
yeah, and I don't even. It's until there's a better transmission option, it's never going to see
I don't know
that.
what kind of transmission option will be for this truck, you know?
Well, we'd have to do a standalone, and you said the TH400, something like that, right? So, but I really don't want this to be a race truck, as Adam knows. This really, hence, you know, me going with things like stock crank and stock heads.
Yeah, stock heads.
As you guys can see over here, this is not by no means a race car build. So this is a budget build, I would call it. It's just a basic. You know, I wanted to run a little bit more boost, and I know the truck can't be over 1,000 horsepower because they blow up. So we are just wanting to get a little bit.
Can make 1,000 horsepower.
The engine can. Yeah, exactly.
They'll put it down on one gear, you know, and then trends just won't do it.
Spitting parts out everywhere and not going anywhere. Okay, well, cool. So Adam,
we're waiting on valve springs right now, and those are not going to be here till Tuesday. That's going to be the holdup. So.
And those are the old valve springs. What kind of valve springs do we use on the truck?
Manly.
Oh, Manly. Nice. Yeah. So we do use Manly on that.
At about 180 psi springs. And it just helps with the boost. And
yeah, because you don't want valve float and stuff like that, right?
The stock ones aren't bad to begin with. I mean, 10 pounds of boost doesn't sound like a lot, but it would just longevity.
Yeah, I like that.
For a short period of time it will work, definitely. It's just long period of time it will beat up the valve train.
Nice. Word. Okay, cool. And then any other stuff that we're doing on the heads?
To the heads, no. That's it.
Just that, right?
Stock.
Will you deck them?
Wicked. Those motors are wicked. I mean, this thing makes 480 horsepower stock.
NA.
So if somebody says that these are pieces of shit, they're dead wrong, you know?
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of the guys like the Tech, and I know if you have the money and you're building a race car that makes 1,500 horsepower, then get them,
Yeah, but
we're not doing that.
LS7s, you know, when those had a CNC heads from the factory, those were a little bit over 500 horse, 7 liter.
Yeah.
This is 6.4 making 480. They're stout motors.
Yeah, I agree with you. So cool. So did you say you'll deck them though? They get decked, Adam, or
yes, they will get.
They'll get decked. Yeah. Okay, to make sure.
No port work, no nothing like that.
Yeah. No need. I agree. So.
Some chromatic gaskets, ARP.
Yeah. What kind of head gasket do you use?
51,000 thick.
Yeah.
So slightly bit thicker than stock. Stock ones are about 36,000 if I remember.
So it's a little bit thicker.
Yeah, it's a little.
That's what you.
Drop the compression down a bit more. So.
I was gonna say, are you doing anything with the compression on that with the head gasket?
Well, the thicker you go, the
a little bit less, right? Yeah.
I want to say it will drop it down to like 9.1.
Minimal, right?
Yeah, 9.1 on the compression ratio.
Sure.
By going to a thicker gasket.
Okay. Cool, that makes sense. And then typical ARP fasteners that everybody uses.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how about the bottom, man? Obviously, you got the oil fan ripped off the old motor. Are we doing anything with bearings or anything on the bottom end of the motor?
CL race bearings in there.
Okay.
I'll take this guy.
Oh, cool. Now we can see it. Perfect. Thanks, Adam.
Oh, yeah, that guy actually painted ARP throughout. And
is that going to be bad, by the way?
That actually got to get cleaned off.
Okay, cool. So that was the machine shop. Adam just got this thing back. No biggie there, but that's why you always check everything. Anyways, back to what you're saying. You're going to do ACL race bearings, all that stuff?
That's what it has in there.
Or it already has in there, duh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. So I'm trying to think. Anything else motor-wise that we haven't talked about that we should share with them? Obviously, you're transferring over all the accessories, alternator.
All the other bits, everything is stock. What came off the old motors.
Yeah.
Back on this.
And then I didn't ask you, can you elaborate on, we talked about it yesterday, the stock cranks. A lot of people ask me, why aren't you doing a 426 or whatever the fuck it is? In the Evo world, the stock crank, you can spin the motor more with a stock crank versus a stroker crank, and it's better for the motor longevity, I've been told as well, right?
426 would make a little bit more torque. From what I've seen over here on the dyno with 392 to a 426, it's a minimal differences.
Okay.
And then you get rid of the oil squitters, it becomes a race motor, and I'm sure I'm going to get hate for this as well, but
yeah,
I believe that cooling of the piston will last longer than running it balls out, so to speak.
Yeah.
So the stroke, it's 4050 at that point on the 426.
Okay.
It wears the pistons. There's massive side loads. There's a lot of information.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and that's probably over a lot of our heads.
Somebody's asking why they should read up about it, because there's going to be a lot more information that I'll be able
for
to
sure. Yeah, from an engineering perspective. But okay, so we're gonna do stock cranks. So I like that.
Normally don't last very long.
And the other thing I was thinking, to be honest with you, is as great as it would be to have a little bit more torque. I mean, once again, transmission and differentials. So I think it's a little bit. Wouldn't it be a little bit easier on the diff and trans because it gradually builds boost like linear?
It's not even 10% increase in.
So it's minimal. Okay.
Displacement. I mean, it's from 6.4 to a 7
liter.
You know what I mean? Just under 10%. It will give a little bit, couple more foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
The top end, I don't know what exactly that would be given as far as horsepower.
Okay.
Normally you got to do something with the heads as well.
Cool.
Aggressive cam and etc. Et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. So I guess it depends on what you're building a car for.
Yeah. Well, this thing's going to be about for street use and occasional, once or twice a year at the drag strip. That's about it. Oh, I'm going to do half mile with this thing too, which Adam's going to love.
6.4s take great. The ignition timing in them is quite low till it gets to about 5,500 RPMs, and then they take very, very good timing advances, and that's
nice.
Peak horsepower is normally about 63, 6,400.
Perfect.
On the stock motor.
Yeah, and we'll rev it to 7, you said, right?
68.
68.
Well, we can rev it to 7.
Or whatever, but the transmission's the issue.
We took Tim's to 7,400.
Yeah.
The trans physically won't shift it.
Won't shift it at all. Okay, cool.
And the truck keeps making power until there, so. But
yeah, once again, motor's not the issue, it's the drivetrain.
It's the drivetrain.
Okay, cool. So speaking of the drivetrain, then we'll get back to time lapse and watching these guys, do some cool work here. But we did have a little bit in mind for the rear diff and then the rear cradle or subframe bushings. Do you want to go show those guys what those look like inside real quick? In your shelf in there. So basically, Adam's done these on Temmie's truck, the black truck, the record setter, and they were snapping output shafts coming out of the transfer case, right?
Yes.
And so basically, there's a lot of drivetrain movement, because of all that power and torque, and they were snapping those shafts. So this is the solution they came up with, and they haven't broke one since. So, and I don't
look kind of big and bulky. I mean, there's 8 of them.
Yeah.
And they replaced the factory bushings on the subframes.
And yes, it will make a little bit more noise for everybody asking, but it's better than a broken transmission.
Honestly, it's not any noisier than putting exhaust on the truck.
And everybody's going to ask me also that doesn't know these cars, or I would ask the output shaft, because you showed me. They'd be like, "Well, can't you just buy a new output shaft?" Well, it's not that. It's part of the gear. So it's this big wheel or gear on the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the whole transmission's fucked.
Quite elaborate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just a swap out the shaft.
And the bushings.
Yeah, where's the bushings at? And then we'll do the diff bushings, which everybody knows what those are, I'm sure. But just for reference.
Suspension,
yeah.
And again, I mean, the rear diff bushings itself are a lot stiffer than what these guys are. But this will just tighten it all up.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah, normally you can move the cross member. If you take a pry bar against the chassis, you can move about a half inch.
That's not good with that kind of torque that we're going to be throwing at it.
It moves a lot.
Holy shit. So, what about the motor mounts, Adam? So I know the motor mounts needed to be done in the Evo. These motor mounts on these things are pretty good factory.
There's always room for improvement.
But there's no other options for them?
There's no other options.
That's what I figured.
Unless you're going to build something yourself. Yeah, a lot of these guys,
we're stopping here until...
You wouldn't want to put mounts like you have in an Evo in your car.
No.
Because you would...
Yeah, we already have enough shake with these, probably.
So you still want to be nice and comfy and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I believe the stock mounts are liquid filled.
Oh, nice.
Some sort of a hydraulic fluid in them.
Nice.
Stiff them up a little bit.
So,
normally when they go bad, they start to leak.
Okay, cool. Well, cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go let these guys get back to work here, and I'll try to document as much as I can. It is the weekend, which is cool for me work-wise. But we'll check back in a bit here and kind of give you an update, and we'll go from there. So Adam, out of curiosity, why do you have to peel back the duct tape for whatever you're doing just a little bit?
Oh, lifters, and we got rid of...
Oh, you put the lifters in?
Yeah, lifters, and the MDS has got deleted.
Nice, and that's the gas saver thing for everybody?
Yeah, exactly. Those are the ones that normally fall apart on the 6.4s too.
Okay.
So you get the take and whatnot.
Nice.
So yeah, they got, on yours they've been disabled since it got tuned anyhow. So
yeah.
That's something in my eye.
That's okay. Adam got brake cleaner in his
Yeah. So new ones. Yeah. Basically matched them up. Put a brand new ones on the passenger side and
nice.
And all the ones with no hole in it
yeah.
on the driver's side. So that's that.
So is it just me, or you guys are moving pretty damn quick here?
Moving along all right.
What were you waiting for till Tuesday again? I already forgot. What part?
Valve springs.
Okay, so you really can't.
Short-term
memory. So we can't exactly put it all together.
It's the bottom end is going to go in.
Oh, so you'll put the cylinder heads once you put the bottom end in the car. That's what I was thinking. The whole long block would be tough to get in that thing.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Did you take the cylinder heads off before you? Okay. And Jay was nice enough to make us a video last night that you guys will see, documents some of his progress, but I wasn't here for that. Nice.